Hi and welcome along to 98 Not Out. A week ago, the world was in a bit of a confused state with the coronavirus, COVID-19, and what it was going to do. We were starting to see restrictions of movement being in place, and then in a very fast-moving week, particularly in the cricket world, we saw lots of teams, counties and international teams abandoning, suspending or postponing plans for overseas tour. England came back from Sri Lanka, Essex abandoned plans to play the MCC in Sri Lanka, and various tours in South Africa, India, etc. were all abandoned. And then finally on Friday we got a statement from the ECB saying that the first class season in the UK was being suspended until the end of May, with no recreational club cricket, county or any first class cricket going on, at least until then. So we thought we'd just try and find out what the impact this was having on plans for the upcoming season, and we caught up with the CEO of Cricket Scotland, Gus Mackay. Let's have a listen. Joining us on the line now, I'm very pleased to say, is Gus Mackay, who's the CEO of Cricket Scotland. Gus, welcome to 98 Not Out.
Good evening, everyone.
Turbulent times across the world. I gather you're sat there watching the news as we speak. Tell us from Cricket Scotland's point of view what's happened as this coronavirus has started to take a grip on the nation.
Yeah, and I think these are obviously unprecedented times for all of us across the world. But I think it's just amazing how sport is getting affected. And what we've done up here is on Monday we announced that there was to be no cricket activity. That was from national squad training all the way through to club, and advice to clubs was no activity either. We will review that at the end of the month. And I think probably where we're trying to get to is trying to provide, as a governing body, some clarity for clubs to mitigate risk and how we can get through this over the next sort of few weeks and months, because obviously the summer's fast approaching and everyone has been looking forward to a game of cricket.
You're separate to the ECB, obviously, so you can afford to make those decisions, because obviously the ECB have only yesterday made a recommendation. It's not even an edict really, and they're still to decide on the domestic season. But you guys are not subject to their yes or no, are you? You can make those decisions.
No, but we do work very closely,
okay.
And we are sort of monitoring what is happening down in England. But obviously our focus is very much on our own clubs, of which we've got about 130 odd across Scotland. Some are well-established clubs. And have got overheads and things like that, and rely on membership and functions to be able to run. We have other clubs who just purely sort of, I wouldn't say nomadic, but just turn up at a ground and play a game of cricket and don't have those overheads. So one of the things that we're looking to do here is actually get to talk to our clubs and understand what the potential financial impact is, and then where do we go from there. But at the moment we're just trying to mitigate the risks and try and get to a point of when we might, things do stabilise, actually start playing cricket again.
Gus, obviously you've been heavily involved in cricket, rugby league as well. Do you see the need for the government to step in here and maybe help clubs the way they're offering to help people as well?
Yeah, I think so. Sport is, I've been involved in sports administration for sort of 20 odd years, and it's always been sort of, it's people's go-to. So in times of hardship and recession and all that, sport has always continued, and we find ourselves here today with that being impacted. And my fear for all sports and sports clubs is that this could put some clubs and stuff out of business if there's no support coming. So we've got to remain calm and just work our way through and talk to people and see where we can get to. But sports is a very important part of community life, as well as sort of well-being and health of people as well.
That's right. I mean, I think that's the concern that we've seen locally down here as well, is that even all the sort of grassroots club levels, electricity bills have to still be paid, and all the sort of just day-to-day functioning, those bills won't go away. So there's a hard case for some central government support, isn't there?
Yeah, there is, and I think what does that look like and how does it work? But also, you'll have organisations and clubs that have got brewery loans and things like that. So is there a softening of those loans and things like that, because they're not being able to pay back if they've borrowed against selling beer, for example. So I think we've got a lot of work to do, and I think it's important that we understand the facts up here in Scotland and what we're dealing with before we can then go and talk to the relevant people.
Okay, Scottish cricket, it's going quite well of late, hasn't it? We've had a few good results.
Yeah, it is, and we're in a good space in terms of the national team, both men's and women's, and it's a game. I've been in the role sort of coming up 6 months now, so I suppose if I was to write a book, it'd be a good read the first 6 months.
It's been around. Cricket's been around in Scotland for quite a long time, though. Isn't it? It's not just a recent sport up there, is it?
No, it hasn't, and it's obviously not a mainstream sport, but it's certainly a sport that is growing, and there's a lot of passionate, committed people up here, and it's just unfortunate that. Our plans, it's a big year. We got the Men's T20 World Cup in Australia. We were supposed to be in America for some 50-over cricket and Namibia. So, things like that are all getting sort of put on hold until we got some clarity as to when we might start playing again. So, it is what it is. We've just got to deal with it and remain calm.
I saw that you got those games against the USA and the UAE that were planned in Florida. That's part of the ICC Division 2 World Cup League. Is that that's ODI, isn't it?
Yes, that's the 50-over.
Yeah.
So that goes to the end of 2021. And finishing top of that log is then qualifying for a 50-over World Cup. So, there's plenty to do. There's plenty going on. It's just unfortunate we've had this situation that we've just got to deal with, and once we get playing again, we'll certainly get back up on track, and we're due to host New Zealand and Australia in the summer.
Oh, fantastic!
So there's question marks over that as well. So we just have to see where we go.
Gus, what's the plan for Cricket Scotland? How are you going to move it all forward?
Yeah, I mean, there's we've got a very good foundation, and as I said, there's a lot of interest in the game, and it is growing. I think where we want to get to is we want to become a full member. And that's what we're working towards, and that will be driven by results and performing on the world stage, which we are very much capable of doing. As we all know, a couple of years ago we beat England.
I missed that. Really? I don't seem to remember that at all.
Just a couple of years ago. But we've got the World Cup coming up. And hopefully we can perform well on that stage, and and then people start. People are taking us seriously, but take us a little bit more seriously, because becoming a full member will be a game changer for the game positively in terms of the financial model.
You must be encouraged by your big rivals, Ireland, sort of getting to that level. So the incentive is there.
Absolutely, and then once you get that, then we need to start looking at facilities. We currently have a play at the Grange, so the plan is to look at our own sort of national stadium. So we're busy working on that at the moment and what that might look like. And facilities, developing more facilities for the game to be played across Scotland.
And in terms of women's cricket, does that come under your remit as well? And how's the game growing up in Scotland? Because we cover that quite a lot on the show.
Yeah, I mean, it's for us, the women's game, not only in Scotland but across the globe is growing. And if you think, the Women's World Cup final had 85,000 people in Australia.
Incredible.
And I think what we've got to do here is continue to push on that, because it's a great opportunity for women and girls to get involved and become professional in quite a short space of time. So it's big on our agenda, and it is growing, and we're developing it pretty quickly.
Now, I've been doing my research, and I found out that in 1986, you spent a year at Essex.
I did. I did.
Was that around the same time? Was Brian Hardy still playing?
Yeah, he was. It was quite an interesting story, actually, because I was asked to come over, and it was an umpire called Don Oslier who got me involved.
I remember. Yeah.
And I came over, and was it Peter Edwards was the secretary at Essex at the time.
Yeah.
And I came over originally for 3 months, and the great Ray East was my second team coach, and Nasser played with Nasser and all of that. So I had a great season. Unfortunately, I didn't sort of do as well as I'd like to have done, and went back to Zimbabwe, and wish I'd had a better crack at county cricket. But it was great.
You got in 3 ODIs for Zimbabwe, though, so not too bad.
Yeah, I did, and I could have always done better. I should have played more, but it was just the circumstance of the time, and probably should have gone back. Played a lot in the Birmingham League. Should have gone back to Zimbabwe a bit earlier. But cricket's been in me since I was born, and just love the game and very passionate about it.
Was Don Topley involved in Zimbabwe at that time?
No, he was. I was still in England when he was. So obviously, but played with Toppers and the Ponts and all of them. So it was a great time at Essex.
Great characters as well from that time.
Yeah,
it was.
I'm just pleased they've done well recently as well.
Yeah, that's right. Well, listen, Gus, thank you so much for joining us. I know you've got a busy schedule, and thanks for your thoughts on what's going on up north of the border. And let's hope that we can all get back watching some action soon, and you can resume this fantastic trajectory that Cricket Scotland are on.
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks very much. And just hope we get back to playing some cricket, and particularly the fact that everyone wants to build on the success of last year, particularly down in England, but also up here of a World Cup trophy having been won, and this year's the year to capitalise on that.
Gus, thank you very much. Keep well and keep safe up there.
Brilliant. Thanks very much. Take care, guys.